Hello everyone. Hi, this is Alok Ojha. Welcome to StudyIQ IAS English. Now, my friends, the preparation of civil services has different stages. The very first stage of civil services preparation is the basics. As a part of the basics, here an aspirant should throw light on specifically reading the basic NCERT and few of the ICSE board book and Tamil Nadu State Board book precisely for subject history. And approximately, like for example, those aspirants, those who are aspiring for 2027, they should dedicate 100 to 120 days for their basics. Like for example, you have to read the different NCERTs. I'll be highlighting which important NCERTs that you have to cover as a part of the basics. So please stick in the video till the end. It's a very short video of 12 to 15 minutes. So you will get to understand that which NCERT should be preferred for history, geography, polity, Indian society, in fact, ethics also, which NCERT should we prefer for studying about the sociology and the Indian society, which NCERT do we need to prefer? So please stick in the video till the end. So one should begin his preparation with the basic NCERT reading, the reading of Tamil Nadu State Board book for the history and certain ICSE board book. After completing the basic, one should go for the foundation phase. As a part of foundation phase, now you have to add on to the knowledge that you have studied previously. For example, if you have read the NCERT, if you have read the NCERT for history, ancient, medieval and modern Indian history, now you have to go for reading the reference book. For example, if you have read the NCERT, Bipan Chandra, now you have to add on to your knowledge by reading either Spectrum or B.L. Grover and Alka Mehta, Sonali Bansal. Apart from this, you can also read Shekhar Bandopadhyay's Placido Partition. Very simple words, as a part of foundation phase, one has to add on to the knowledge that he has previously studied. And finally comes the consolidation phase. As a part of consolidation phase, now you have to go for multiple revisions. Like resources do play a very crucial role in the preparation of civil services. Now, usually what happens, students, they make a mistake by going for multiple resources. Let me purchase all the NCERT from 6 to 12 standard. Let me purchase all the important possible books for Indian geography. Similarly, let me purchase all the important books for modern Indian history. Now, it's a question to all of you aspirants, my friends, that suppose you're reading modern Indian history. And for modern Indian history, you have preferred multiple sources. Like you have read the Spectrum, you have read Bipan Chandra. Apart from this, you have read the another important book, V.D. Mahajan. Apart from this, you have read another important book, that is Placido Partition by Shekhar Bandopadhyay. Now, 1.5 months are left for the prelims examination. Now, please tell me, is it feasible to revise all the books just for one subject, that is modern Indian history? Because aspirants don't only have to cover one subject, they have to cover multiple subjects. History, geography, polity, economy, science and tech, current affairs and so on. So here, my suggestion would be minimize the resources and go for multiple revisions. Hence, I usually keep on saying it is better to read one book 10 times rather than reading 10 books. So your consolidation phase becomes quite easier in the end. So as a part of basics, you have to kickstart your preparation with the NCERTs. Okay. Like the most important and the crucial aspect as a part of civil services preparation is strategy. Second important aspect is consistency. Correct? Like many of the students initially during the initial phase of their preparation, they are quite consistent. For example, they'll study for 7 to 8 hours on daily basis. But with the passage of time, they break the flow of studies. My friends, although make a small target, although make a short-term goals, but please remain consistent during your preparation. Correct? Like consistency does pay you in the end. One of the finest example, like these days the FIFA World Cup is going on. You might have heard about one of the famous persons, Wozinha, correct? From Cape Verde. Like he is a goalkeeper of 40 to 41 years of age. He was initially a bus driver. But he has he has prevented so many goals against Spain. So this simply highlights one thing, consistency does pay in the end. So please remain consistent in your preparation. Now, without wasting any more time, let's throw light on which are the important and the crucial NCERTs that we need to prefer for different subjects. Clear? If you want, you can take the screenshot of the NCERTs as well. I mean to say, whatever I have written on the board, you can take the screenshot of this. Okay. Now, which NCERT should we prefer for history? Now, history is a very wide subject. You have ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history, modern Indian history, art and culture, world history, and India since independence. So, which are the important basic books that we need to cover for the subject history? So, here I would suggest you few important old NCERT. I won't be suggesting you all the NCERT from 6th to 12th. I repeat, I won't be suggesting you all the NCERT from 6th to 12th. There are few important things that I've written on the board. As I've told you, you can take a screenshot of this. Okay. Now, for ancient Indian history, study the old NCERT of 11th standard by R.S. Sharma. Okay. The things have given in a very structured format, in a very lucid manner in R.S. Sharma. Then for medieval Indian history, there are key chapters, like I'll give you a simple example: the invasions of Mahmud of Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori, Delhi Sultanate, the Mughal Empire, Vijayanagar and Bahmani Kingdom. These are the part of regional kingdoms. And they have been explained in a very structured format in the old medieval India NCERT by Satish Chandra. Okay, it's a class 11th NCERT. So prefer for ancient and medieval Indian history, old NCERT of class 11th. For modern Indian history, prefer old NCERT of class 12th by Bipan Chandra. Okay, so for ancient, R.S. Sharma, medieval, Satish Chandra, modern, Bipan Chandra. These are the old NCERT. Okay, now you have to prefer the old NCERT for world history as well. Like for the class 10th, Story of Civilization Part 1 by Arjun Dev, Story of Civilization Part 2 again by Arjun Dev. These are the NCERT of class 10 and they will 100% help you out in understanding the basic concepts related to world history. Clear? I'm speaking just in terms of the basic. I'm not speaking about any reference book. Then comes the major part, art and culture. Now, art and culture needs to be updated from the current affairs. But the most and the crucial important aspect, you need to understand certain basics of art and culture. And for developing the basics of art and culture, you have to read the new NCERT, Themes of Indian History Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3. I repeat, Themes of Indian History Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3. That is the new NCERT for art and culture. Apart from this, 9th and 10th chapter of class 12th NCERT, Living Crafts and Traditions of India. You don't have to read the entire book. You have to read just 9th and 10th chapter. And this will help you out precisely in the art and culture. So for art and culture, you have to prefer the new NCERT. That is Themes of Indian History Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3. And 9th and 10th chapter of class 12th NCERT, Living Crafts and Traditions of India. So these are the basic books that you need to prefer for the history subject. Now let's talk about geography, another important and a very crucial subject. For geography, let's begin first with the new NCERT. Now, as a part of new NCERT, you have to read 4 NCERTs mandatorily, compulsorily. And many a times you can get a direct question from the NCERT without even changing the options. Like, I'll give you a very simple example. There are direct questions from India's physical environment, which is an 11th standard NCERT. Correct? Like many students, they prefer G.C. Leong for geomorphology, oceanography and climatology. Yes, you can prefer that. But the basics of geomorphology, oceanography and climatology can be studied from the NCERTs as well. And in a very beautiful and simplistic manner, everything has been explained in the geography NCERTs. So compulsorily you have to read this 4 geography NCERT. These are the new NCERTs. Okay. Read 11th standard Fundamentals of Physical Geography, wherein you will cover the basics. For example, you'll cover the basics of climatology, oceanography and geomorphology. Then 11th standard India's Physical Environment, a very important NCERT. Then 12th standard 2 NCERT you have to prefer, that is Fundamentals of Human Geography and People and Economy. I repeat, these are the new NCERTs for geography. Now, speaking in terms of world geography, what happens? 6th, 7th and 8th standard old NCERT plays a very crucial role. Like if you pick up any of the NCERT, for example, pick up the NCERT of 6th standard. Now, everything has been explained in the format of a continent. Like for example, if you have picked up a continent, Africa. So what are the mineral resources in Africa? What is the climate in Africa? What are the important rivers in Africa? What are the important mountain ranges in Africa? What are the, crops in Africa, wildlife in Africa, tribes in Africa? Everything has been explained in quite depth and detail. So in 6th, 7th and 8th standard old NCERT for geography, you will find the things in the format of a continent. And that becomes quite easier for the aspirants to note down the things. Clear? So these are the few important NCERTs, the new one for geography specifically, and these are the old one for the geography, precisely world geography. Moving on ahead. For environment these days plays a very crucial role. So you have to update your environment obviously from the current affairs section. But to build up the basics of the environment, read the books 9th and 10th standard ICSE board book. Like what is bioaccumulation, what is biomagnification, what is the difference between tiger reserve and a national park. So all these are the basic concepts. And you will get all these basic concepts in quite depth and detail in a very structured format in 9th and 10th standard ICSE board book. So one should prefer these two important books for the section environment. And along with geography and environment, it plays a very crucial role in the examination. Correct? Like approximately you can get 5 to 6 questions from environment in the prelims examination. Moving ahead with the section economy. Now read class 11th standard NCERT Indian Economic Development, and also read introductory microeconomics and macroeconomics of class 12th. These are the new NCERTs. Now you might have observed that this year, like GS paper 4 ethics, it's a very crucial paper of the mains examination. Correct? But this year in the UPSC prelims examination, there were 2 questions on ethics in the prelims examination itself. So how to cover that as well? So for GS paper 4 ethics, read class 11th and 12th standard psychology NCERT. Okay, this will help you out not only in the prelims examination, it will 100% help you out in the mains examination as well. So for GS paper 4 ethics, read class 11th and 12th standard psychology NCERT. Clear? Now let's move ahead with the polity section. For polity, it's a very important book. Class 11th standard Indian Constitution at Work. Then class 12th standard Contemporary World Politics. These are the 2 important books that you read for the polity. Then for India after independence, like India after independence is also one of the sections in the mains examination, precisely GS paper 1. And every year there is approximately 1 or maximum 2 questions. You can take that 1 question. So every year there's 1 question in the mains examination related to India after independence. So to understand the basics of India after independence, read class 12th NCERT, Politics in India since Independence. And for reading Indian society, like Indian society again, it's a very crucial part. It's a very important part of your GS paper 1. So for that purpose, you read class 12th NCERT, Social Change and Development in India. I repeat, social change and development in India. You can take the screenshot of these NCERTs. Okay. I've mentioned all the important NCERTs that you have to cover. So as I've told you in the start itself, the aspirants, those who are aspiring for 2027, okay, so you have to go in a very strategic manner as a part of your preparation. You have to cover your basics within 100 to 120 days. So whatever NCERTs that we have seen previously or that I have mentioned on the board, you have to cover these NCERT within a span of maximum 4 months. It also includes the basic books of your optional subject. Like somebody might be having sociology as their optional. Somebody might be having political science as their optional. Somebody might be having public administration as their optional. So you also need to cover the basics of the optional as well within the span of 120 days. So approximately you have to study for 6 to 8 hours on daily basis. Another important aspect, I have already made a video on how to cover the NCERT, but let me tell you in short within the next 30 seconds. You have to go for 3 basic readings of the NCERT compulsorily. As a part of the first reading, even if you do not understand, just go for a random reading. As a part of second reading, you have to highlight the important points and the crucial points. Highlight the keywords. It's a request to all of you, please do not paint the entire NCERT from the very first page to the last page. Just highlight the keywords and make a notes out of it. And as a part of third reading, revise the notes that you have made. So follow these 3 steps specifically for covering the NCERT. Hope so the points are clear. Very soon, I'll be coming up with a strategy video on how to cover the foundation phase within 6 to 8 months. Clear? My friends, StudyIQ IAS has come up with GS Foundation P2I batches for 2027 and 2028. Now, the batches are completely based on SMART model. Now, as a part of SMART model, the classes would be completely in a structured format. Simple word, initially the basics would be covered, wherein the students would be taught the NCERT. One more crucial important aspect, I forgot to tell you about that. You also need to cover Tamil Nadu State Board book for history. Okay? So as a part of structured classes, you have to cover the basic NCERTs. Then we will move on with what? Then we'll move on with the foundation phase, wherein more knowledge will be added on. Then finally comes the advanced stage. As a part of advanced stage, proper answer writing technique, the development of analytical perspective, or like we will throw light on all these crucial aspects. The most important aspect is mentorship. Now, usually what happens, many times student faces problem in making a proper timetable. Sometimes student face problem in going for a structured answer writing, how to write a proper answer, how to approach the essay writing. So in that case, there would be a mentor who would be guiding you throughout your journey for civil services preparation. I usually keep on saying the aspirants that revision is a key for everything. It is better to read one book 10 times rather than reading 10 books. So I never suggest the aspirant to go for multiplication of books. In fact, go for consolidation of books and go for maximum revision. So there would be revision classes as well. And apart from this, to gauge the competence of the aspirant, there would be proper assessment and conducting of the test. The most important aspect here is the batches are completely available in English language. Completely. All the subjects would be taught to you in English language. History, geography, polity, economy, science and tech, current affairs, everything. And this will cater to the needs of the aspirants precisely from southern part of India and northeastern India. And as a part of Arambha offer, last but not the least, there's a complete 50% off on purchase of all the UPSC courses across StudyIQ platform. And the sale is going to end today, that is on 18th of June. So suppose if you are purchasing a course for 2027 and if you use the code Alok Live that is flashing on your screen, you'll get 50% off. Similarly, if you purchase a course for 2028, you'll get a 50% off if you use the code Alok Live. So sale is going to end today. So hurry up and grab up the opportunity. So these are the basic steps that you have to follow for covering the certain NCERTs. With this, I'll stop my words. Thank you and have a nice day. Jai Hind.